A good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what part of the world you are in. This is BigGirlDiary. Okay, I'm going to do something a little different today. I'm going to talk about Evan Rachel Wood and Marilyn Manson, and I'm going to take it through the eyes of Evan Rachel Wood and how Marilyn Manson led up to the lawsuit. So I'm going to take this podcast in different sections. I'm not going to put everything in one podcast. No. I'm going to break it up. And for my members, go on and I uploaded a video that will be very enlightening. And it goes deeper into this right here. So, all right. Let's go ahead and get into it. Oh, before I do, please like, subscribe. That helps the algorithm. I do have a membership, and it's $4.99 a month. Check into that if you want to support me that way. If you want to support me in a different way, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, BigGirlDiary. Every penny counts. It would help me upgrade my my equipment. Some of you do say, "Hey, your voice went out," and I'm sorry. I'm just doing the very best I can with my microphone, computer, and my good old reliable camera. It's connected to my computer, and I'm grateful for what I have. But if I can upgrade, that would be great. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Keep in mind, this is going to be through the eyes of Evan Rachel Wood. So as I link things together, just keep in mind through her eyes. All right, this is where it all began. Evan Rachel Wood was one of those extremely misunderstood, talented students. And within her talent, it left her, I can't say stunted, because, okay, not stunted, but she had a problem socializing with people. Now, when she was growing up, her mother and father were both in the industry, the entertainment industry. Her mother, I believe, was an actress, and her father, a writer and producer. So she's shown that she had an ability to act and sing, and so they put her in movies. So within this, she had not a strange way, but she had a hard time distinguishing between what is real and what is reality. I mean, what is real and what is not real. And if you know anything about child development, that is a critical age to where when children are in make-believe at a young age, it's hard for them to be able to step back and see what is real and what isn't real. And it all depends on the stability of their family. Now, when Evan Rachel Wood, I believe, was in the 6th grade, somewhere around there in middle school, she was bullied relentlessly. And I believe it was due to her talent, to where she was mocked. And again, by her having difficulties being able to tell between real and not real, that sort of, can I say, like, bled out into her everyday life. And so she was homeschooled, was given books to read, and I'm not sure to the level, because when you homeschool someone, you have to have a clear-cut plan. And the way she stated, they gave me books and I read it and that was it. However, this is how she started out. This is where it all begins. All right, Evan Rachel Wood as an adult. Now let's look at this picture as if it was June 9th, 2024, and reflecting before Marilyn Manson filed his lawsuit, major lawsuit. And let's look at it through her reflecting. All right, here we go. Okay, this is where it all begins. Well, not all begins, but when Evan Rachel Wood said that she was groomed by Marilyn Manson, she never stopped to say that there was an older man before him. Now, I have down here, Down in the Valley, 2005 release, 2006 in the United States. Now, in 2005, she was 18 years old. That was the release of the movie. Now, it took about maybe a year and a half between the editing, promoting, and everything, and getting it to different movie theaters around the world and testing it, all of that. That takes a little bit of time. So she said, well, not said, it was stated that she dated Ed Norton. And she was what, 16 at the time? 16, possibly 16, maybe 16 and a half, 17. But Ed was 38. He was old enough to be her father. But at that period, whenever you're young, you go in and out of relationships. You like somebody today and can't stand them tomorrow because, you know, you're moving, your hormones, everything is all over the place. And you're just trying to gain some type of traction on who and what you are, and that's what you're trying to find out. And with her, she said that she liked older men. And if you look at the men that she dealt with, they were all around her parents' age. So he's the first one, but she skips him. And I find that quite interesting. And just look at his face and look at hers. He looks like, woman, let me eat. Leave me alone. Now, here is where Marilyn Manson begins. Marilyn Manson sees Evan Rachel Wood like, oh, wow, she's in my face, in my peripheral. Ooh, what a beauty. Now, next to him is Madonna John Gacy. He's like, don't do it, Marilyn. Right there is something that you do not want to deal with. Leave that alone. Plus, you got Dita. You love her, you married her. Don't do it. Now, at that time, Marilyn Manson had a lot of toys in the attic. And who knows what Evan Rachel Wood was into at that time, because she said she was 18. And that's when she presented herself into his realm. And she has always been a fan, and she had an opportunity to, I don't know, meet him on set, but she made her presence known. Take a look at him and look at Evan. Oh. Now this right here is Marilyn Manson's wife. They were married about, they were married for about a year and a half. And Dita wasn't happy that Marilyn had a lot of toys in the attic, but she was hoping that they could work things out. And Marilyn did love Dita, but he wanted to explore things, do a little bit more. Even though he settled down and he loved Dita, it might have been more to keep her from going someplace else until he was ready to say, okay, I'm ready to settle down and be with my wife, even though I married her. But I don't believe in a million years that Dita even had it in her mind that he would do what he did. Now, the people that I'm going to present, they all knew Dita. Dita still is a burlesque dancer. And she's in, I don't want to say the mechs industry, but by her being a burlesque dancer, it's like soft cornology in certain ways, in many ways, soft cornology. But however, Evan looked at Dita and said, "You have to get out of my way, and I'm going to do what I need to do to get rid of you. Yes, I'm here to stay, and you are going to leave. This is my man. He was yours, but no longer." I could imagine her saying something like that. Now she got him. Now Marilyn Manson, right here's Evan's brother, then Marilyn Manson, then Evan Rachel Wood, and a friend. So here they're cozy. She's happy. She got her man. He divorced his wife, and now she has his full attention. Now Evan, by being, how can I say, she's young and talented, but that does not translate over to socializing and just gathering friends. Normally with people like Evan that has been bullied in that way, they have a tendency to have how can I say, a manipulative type of air to them. And they're with you because they're able to get something. You are a means to an end. And I'm pretty sure we all have a friend like that, or we know someone like that. And from what I gathered by researching her, that's what it seemed like, in my opinion. But here they are. And plus her brother, this one right here, said that she had a hard time telling between what is real and what is not real. Excuse me. All right. Now, Erica Summers is a very interesting person because she's in the mix of this. Now that Evan has she's cemented in the relationship with Marilyn Manson, that's her man, no one else is there. Now, while she's there, you have Erica Summers. And Erica Summers was Marilyn Manson's personal secretary. And she's young and beautiful, and so is Evan Rachel Wood. But however, Evan's like, oh, there could only be one, and that is me. Or shall I say, that is I. And she basically had a conversation with Marilyn Manson, and I could only imagine it went like this. Hey, Marilyn, look, either she goes or I go, but you cannot have two beautiful women in your life. And within this statement, you're going to find something quite interesting, because I just stated that Evan doesn't do anything unless if it benefits her. Now, at this time, Evan, she goes both ways. She's sexually fluid. So whichever way the wind blows, that's the way she goes. So he gets rid of Marilyn Manson gets rid of Erica and hires someone else. Now, here's the interesting part. He didn't have to worry about Erica, or she didn't have to worry about Erica Summers, because Erica Summers was already with Illma Gore. Now, I'm not sure when Evan Rachel Wood and Illma Gore met, but Erica Summers and Illma Gore were an item. So they were together. Now, within this time, I could only assume that Evan had her eye on Erica. I'm not sure when Evan's eye went to Illma, but it was her eye went to Evan. Now, within this time, she's with Marilyn Manson. Erica is gone. And now this happens. Now, this is quite interesting. Evan leaves Marilyn. Now she left Marilyn a couple of times. But this time, she left Maryland, got married, had a baby, and went back to Marilyn Manson. Quite interesting. But her marriage with Jamie Bell lasted for about a year and a half. Not very long. And then she goes back to Maryland. Now, the interesting part is, within this time frame, she also took Erica in. Erica became her personal secretary or her personal assistant. She had Marilyn Manson to fire her, to where at some point she picked her up and she was employed by Evan Rachel Wood. Quite interesting. Now she's back with Marilyn. And as I stated earlier, she's fluid. So she's back together with him. And some may say, well, Marilyn knew what he was getting into. To what degree, I'm not sure. But like I said, Marilyn Manson had a lot of toys in the attic. Now, who knows what Evan was doing at that time, but she was doing something, because one of her, I call wing women, at that time said that, and that would be Ashley Morgan Smithline, who said that she was doing K, and she was doing it with, well, I can't say who she's doing it with because she didn't state it, but they were all together. So one could assume that if she was doing it, a couple of her friends within her realm was doing it. But through conversations with one of Evan's ring women, I'm not going to say whom, but one of them believes or stated that Evan and Esme are evil. Now it goes back to Evan Rachel Wood being bullied, and when you're bullied, you have an insecurity about you, especially if it's not dealt with. An insecurity that comes out in different ways. Like I said earlier, she was a little bit manipulative. She had a hard time socializing, or shall I mean having a meaningful connection with people to cement relationships that is healthy. But that's not what Evan does. There's always a means to it. And within her, I got him back. I look good on his arm. He's good for me because I like older men. And whenever I want to do something, I know I can leave and come back. I don't think Evan ever thought that this relationship would ever change. It would stay the same. Well, this is where Evan and Illma Gore get together. They are an item now. Now, keep in mind that Illma Gore and Erica Summers were an item. And I believe, due to information in my belief, that when Evan had Erica fired for her to work with her, for her to leave Marilyn Manson, it was basically to be able to have a relationship with her at some time. And I find it quite interesting that Erica would break up with Illma, then to be with Evan, and then Evan would break up with would break up with Erica to be with Illma. And a person that was kind of passed around in their little circle was Erica. And that is a hard and a heavy place to be when you were just passed around. Now, I highly doubt it that Marilyn Manson had a relationship with Erica. It doesn't seem that through any of his employment, the people that were employed had any relationship with him, except for Ashley Walters. She said that there was some type of abuse, but I'm going to come to that. But here, as you can see, Illma has Evan, and she's going to do everything to secure this relationship. Even throw people under the bus to maintain this relationship, and keep that comment, keep it in the back of your mind. Now, like I said earlier, Evan was able to come and go, and Marilyn would take her back. He took her back a couple of times until he got tired of it. So Marilyn Manson marries Lindsay. Now this is where everything comes to a screeching halt and everything explodes. Evan Rachel Wood does not get left. She does the leaving. The fact that she, being young, beautiful, and talented, and for Marilyn to not wait for her to come back to be with him again, because she has these cycles when she says that Marilyn Manson is vanilla in the room. And whenever she wants some excitement or just to do fluid stuff, then she'll go out and come back, and Marilyn is supposed to wait for her. It never has entered her mind that he would have enough of her harassing him. And keep in mind, Madonna, John Gacy was like, leave her alone. You don't want that kind of drama. Leave her alone. So he marries Lindsay Alsich. Now she's Mrs. Warner, or Mrs. Marilyn Manson. And that right there had Evan Rachel Wood steam coming out of her ears, because she was supposed to be Mrs. Manson or Mrs. Warner. That was her, because he proposed to her twice, but whatever happened, it never happened. But Lindsay got the ring, and plus Lindsay's a couple of years younger than her, so that's a slap in the face, because now he found somebody a little younger. Now Marilyn, he has a thing for younger women, and I get it. Him and Johnny Depp do the same thing. They both left their long-term girlfriends or their wife that was a couple of years younger to be with a woman almost 20 years or 23 years their junior. So a whole generation between them. And some men do that. Some men like younger women. I don't know. I don't get it, but that's what some men do. But Evan saw red. Destruction mode. Now here, Evan Rachel Wood, Illma Gore, and Marilyn Manson. Now, Illma Gore and Marilyn Manson have one thing in common, and that right there is Evan Rachel Wood. Now, Illma is going to do everything to make her girlfriend happy. And that if that means throwing people under the bus, she'll do it. And Illma listened to Evan Rachel Wood in her relationship with Marilyn, and it was one-sided. It was Evan's side. She never got Marilyn's side. She never sat down and talked to him, say, hey, what was it like with being with Evan? None of those things. Now, for Illma, being with a Hollywood actress, rich, successful, was a big thing. Now, Evan was with Marilyn Manson, very wealthy, very successful, opened up doors for Evan. And Evan couldn't open up doors for Illma, and Illma is going to not let Evan slip through her fingers. Oh no. She'll be that protector. She'll be that person that will give her security to keep her feeling safe. She would do everything that a man would do. And that is what Illma did. Now, Evan's wing women. This is where it gets good. Now, remember, I told you that Dita introduced Marilyn to these women. They all came through Dita. If Dita would have known, let me bring it up. Now, if Dita would have known Esme Bianco, she's a burlesque dancer as well, and she met Marilyn through Dita. But beforehand, she, meaning Esme, and looking in the mirror, that right there has a lot of symbolism right there in itself. She's from England, and she was married, and she was going to Thailand to do modeling over there. And I'm not quite sure when Dita met Esme. I'm not quite sure when, because Dita would go and do shows all over. So who knows where they met. Now, Marilyn is also an artist as well. He paints. So somehow Esme and Marilyn Manson got, he was shooting a music video, and he needed someone who was in horror and I guess bondage type of modeling in burlesque, and that is what Esme did. That was a part of her portfolio. Now, Dita didn't do that sort of burlesque type. She was in a completely different genre in that. But this is where Esme comes in. And Esme, like I said, was married, and she came over to the US to do a shoot and fell into a relationship with Marilyn Manson while she had a husband back in England. And she was open about it. It wasn't like that she was trying to hide from the cameras. They were together, and I'm pretty sure her husband saw it. Now here they're out and about, and I'm not even going to get into the symbolism and what's going on right here, the eye movement, or what Marilyn is doing. And I never noticed that before, but I find these gestures quite interesting. And that's for a completely different video. But here she's out with him, and this is her relationship. And it seems like that whenever women get into relationship with Marilyn, they assume that there's going to be some type of marriage at the end of the tunnel, because he could open up a lot of doors for her. But once Marilyn said, okay, the job is done. Hey, thanks a lot, but I'm ready to move on. And that's exactly what he did. And it was like, how dare you? So you have Evan's suit seething. Now you have Esme Bianco. It's like, oh, you're not going to just use me like that. No. But here's the interesting part. Now, Marilyn has a studio, and one of my subscribers tracked down the studio and took a picture of it. So she asked me my subscriber asked me to keep her name out of it. And I've had this let me see, this picture for almost a year now, maybe a little less. And I'm still going to honor that wish. So in Esme's lawsuit, she talks about this place right here, but she embellishes some. Esme Bianco, she has that look like I'm not done yet. I believe. Now here's the Ashley Morgan Smith line, Ellwinger. Now Esme Bianco, she had the same lawyer. And Ashley Morgan, when she sued, something happened. She brought back the suit, and then she's like, no, I can't do this because he did none of these things. And she sided with Evan Rachel Wood. But this was Evan Rachel Wood's plan to have the women that he had a relationship with to bring them back and to have them sue him for different types of abuse. And there was like a thread with it's like there was like a theme with some of the women. Now there were other people outside of this that I left out. Now for my members, I get into all of them, all 22 of them. Quite interesting. So Ashley Morgan, she decides, I can't do this. I have a conscience, and she realized that these women were not the nicest women until they start turning on her. And then Evan held employment over her head, and she's like, look, I can't do this. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. And then she turned to help Marilyn Manson. But Ellwinger, he is in a class all by himself. Oh my goodness, he's in a class all by himself. Now, Ashley Walters is the key. She's the key that glues everyone together. Ashley Walters was Marilyn Manson's personal secretary, just like Erica Summers. But Ashley was not within the cool girl gang. She just wasn't. She was always a visitor on the outside looking in, but she wanted to be a part of the pretty girls. And Evan needed her. Evan took a look at her and just knew, Illma, we can use her. And we can let her fit in with us, hang out with us, be a part of us until they got what they needed. And I'm going to show you what she added to. Oh goodness, I didn't mean to do that. Added to what they needed to bring down Marilyn Manson. Now, this right here is Ashley Walters, and something about Marilyn and that. But it looks like, she sort of came up and surprised him. But she was friends, and she was an employee, and there wasn't any type of relationship outside of just simply employer-employee type of situation. And she was a photographer, and she was in control of his social media, which was very important. The social media aspect of it. And she, how can I say, brought a lot to them that was viable to Evan Rachel Wood and Illma Gore to bring down Marilyn Manson, because no one leaves Marilyn Manson. I mean, no one leaves Evan Rachel Wood, because she does the leaving. Now, when Evan, now when Marilyn Manson married Lindsay, that's when everything came to a screeching halt for Evan Rachel Wood. It was like everything ceased to exist. He married her. Now, she managed to get rid of his first wife. And it's like, how does she compete with someone a couple of years younger than her? So, the first person who Evan Rachel Wood went after was his wife. She took out a police report on him. And if you look at my older videos, I go into what that was. So Marilyn Manson said, okay, Evan, you've been coming in and out my life. Whenever you want to do some wild stuff, you would leave and then come back. And you left me for Illma Gore, and I just had enough. And this is right around the time when Marilyn Manson cleaned up his life. He stopped doing rugs, and he mind became clear. Body was clear of all those toxins, and he started to see things with fresh eyes. And those fresh eyes led him away from Evan Rachel Wood and realized what a monster she was. But his wife is there with him. Now, here's the evidence. All right. Ashley Walters was ahead of, his social media. And if you look right here, she's emailing. This was October 19th, 2010. And here they're passing information as far as who was it? Ashley Walters right here. She's emailing Matt. The username password that was to his Facebook and other social medias. Okay, the plan was manufactured in Australia. Now, like I said, Illma Gore would throw anyone under the bus. Anyone. And Illma Gore would throw anyone under the bus. So Illma Gore would throw anyone under the bus. And that's exactly what she did. Now, Illma goes to Australia, where she has a twin sister, an identical twin sister. And she was in contact with Evan Rachel Wood while she was over there. Now, her and her twin sister has been estranged. Her twin sister Brighton had to sue Illma Gore, sue her because she took her identity. I mean, it gets wild. When Illma falls in love, she'll throw anyone under the bus to ensure that the person who she's with is well taken care of. So here, Evan Rachel Wood and Illma Gore. That look on Evan's face is a little frightening to me. Now, this right here is a part of the evidence, and it's called the alleged script, as far as she wrote things down, what they were going to do, and how they were going to do it. It was a to-do plan. Now, within that to-do plan, they came up with this letter right here, which translated into the FBI letter. Now, this right here was on not the laptop, but the iPad that Illma Gore left to her sister. It was broken by Evan Rachel Wood's son, Jack. And with all that money that Evan had, she could have got her another iPad, but that's not what she did. So she takes that down there to Australia and does everything from Australia basically to set her sister up So when everything went down, it would look like that her sister Brighton had everything to do with it. Wow. So, with all of this through Evan's eyes, it seems like that she hasn't worked out many of the things that she needed to. And sometimes what goes on in school, it goes unchecked. And even go through therapy, especially when you're not ready to deal with certain aspects of your life and how those experiences has cemented you in being who you are at that point in time, and growing and taking responsibility and accountability, and how to connect with people in a meaningful manner. Evan hasn't learned that, but I have a strong suspicion that Marilyn Manson is going to make her responsible for everything that she has done. But on that note, it sort of makes you wonder how this is going to end. But this is just one installment. So I want to thank you for stopping by.